Hi everyone, my name's Damara. And what I'm going to be doing today is a one card pull for each sign, each astrological sign for this next 14-year period. The period when we have that huge opportunity with Neptune being in Aries to actually heal everything we need to heal. Sort ourselves out in a way, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, in order to journey on with the best of ourselves in every way. So we could go into a lot of combinations here, but the most important thing is, what is the main thing for each sign to look at in themselves as we start this journey, which is today for the next 14 years. This is incredible because it goes until 2039. I mean, my goodness, you know, that's a long period of time for any of us. So let's start. I'm going to start with shuffling these cards and just keep an open mind. Just maybe sit and do, what, you know, as I'm doing this, sit and do a couple of conscious breaths so that you come out of your judgment head and come into the now moment with me, so that we can actually communicate together with this card, and that you're going to be truly there to hear what upstairs is saying to you. What is it you really need to know? I'm going to start with the fire signs. I'm going to start with Aries. Oh, you know, we always say, us readers, I can't make this up. And it's so true, because I've started with Aries and Neptune, the whole spiritual, dreamy energy is coming into Aries, which is action. I can do it. I'm going to walk forward, you know. And what is it? Look at this. It's truly for you in that way. This is selfhood. This is Artemis. She never even picks that bow up to shoot that arrow unless she knows in herself and can carry through and hit that target. That's how powerful the action in Aries is. And the universe is rooting for you. Aries. I mean, I have moon in Aries, so there's going to be people out there with moon, ascendant, sun sign. And my moon in my feelings, my emotions, I think is what is really being healed in me at the moment, and allowing me to move forward. And I really see that. And this card is the card we need, all of us. All of us who have, you know, major placements in Aries. We need to be in that dynamic self, that spiritual warrior. And isn't that apt? I mean, we're talking about Aries, but, you know, Neptune moving into Aries, and we get the spiritual warrior for Aries. I'm excited. Let's see what we're going to have for Sagittarius here. And for Sagittarians, maybe it's not going to be so much moving around, traveling, Sagittarians, but really getting into your inspiration. That's what this card is here. So having the Neptunian energies in Aries is maybe going to help them to stay still long enough to be aware of that there is more and more inspiration within you to come out. And what field do you want to focus on right now? So be aware of that, Sagittarians, because Sagittarians love travel. They love fun. They love running a party every day or every week. And this is about more than that. This is putting your inspiration into the higher sides of yourself to help us walk that path forward to our new world. So this may be more on a humanitarian side for Sagittarians. Okay, so we have the fire in Leo next. Exciting. It's a really growth time for Leos. And we really know that because Leo is the fieriest of the fire signs, and they really need now to do the growth work. This is self-growth. And if we have Leos walking forward into the leadership roles without doing the inner work, what we end up with is tyrants and dominant personalities. So this is really, really helpful for our journey forward into this new world of peace, equality, and freedom. It's not about just making it in the financial world, becoming the hero just for yourself. It's about becoming the hero for the collective. And if you haven't done the work, Leo, you will be far too dominant in the wrong areas of life. And you will be far too fiery and burn yourselves up rather than burn the way forward for everyone in the collective. My goodness, these first three are very powerful. Let's go on to the water now. Let's do Cancer. Well, Cancerians, we've got the powerful nut card here from Egypt, which is mystery. Cancerians, it's gonna be a mystery if you get out of your feelings for just yourself. If you are overreactive with everything that you take personally, this is not going to be a mystery journey for you if you do that. It's going to be same old, same old. So for Cancerians, what I'm getting really heavily here is moving out of the feelings for just yourself and really putting that into something useful. You were born a Cancerian for a really powerful reason, and that was to allow your sensitivity to work for the whole of the collective in everything that you do, not just for yourself, but for our new world, the new conditions for the new people being born, the new babies who are going to be born in a completely different way. I just love what we're walking towards, and I'll do a whole video on that, the new world, as I've channeled the information for that. So Cancerians, it's absolutely up to you. And if you're scared of the mystery, then start getting in touch with your real inner self that has the power to cope with the mystery and the unknown. I like to call it mystery because it's so exciting and it's full of magic. But many people talk about it just as the unknown and scare themselves to death. We're not talking about the unknown. We're talking about the mystery, the depths, the flavor, the nourishment that we can get from the mystery, not only in ourselves, but in everyone else in the world around us. So Cancerians, take heed. Get out of yourself and your own feelings about yourself and who's done this to you or whatever. You are on a mission, and it's to bring yourself into the mystery of everything that there is, rather than be suffocated by your own feelings. Powerful message there for Cancerians. Let's do Pisces. I have a couple of Pisces friends, so this is going to be interesting. This is about the wisdom you carry. Pisces, who are again a water sign and very deep and very knowing. But sometimes, again, they get too tied up with the nonsense around them or the nonsense in their own lower minds. And they can be quite obsessive about certain things. But you have such a wild wisdom, Pisces. Get in touch with that wild wisdom. You have to start meditating in order to do that. For anybody who's in Pisces, you know that you've been in a very foggy period for the last 14 years because Neptune was actually in Pisces. And being in Pisces, there was a very foggy nature about the whole structure of what we've all been through. But for Pisces, it made it even more foggy. And you can now understand it that Neptune is now come out of Pisces, which is quite floaty and quite undefined. And it's now in Aries, the explosion of the fire energy and the directly walking forward. So for Pisces, this is a clearance for you. You've now got the chance to get in touch with your real deep wisdom and to bring it forward again, not just for yourself, because we know how big your feelings are and your emotions that get all tangled up. This is for the collective. You have a mission to bring your Pisces energy together with the Neptune and the Aries to help us move into this new world. I'm never going to go off that subject. Most of my readings that I do are to help bring all the collective through into the understanding that we are here for the collective now. We are the one. And we are those who are going to walk forward and bring in this new world. So we're talking about Scorpio now. Dare we even open this for Scorpio? Scorpio, this is about your relationships. I think we've had quite a lot of readings over the past 12 months going back into 2024, and a lot of it's been connected to relationships. And again, you know, what we're walking forward with Scorpio is you now have the Neptunian spiritual higher energies. You have the excitement of that can come through for you because you are that sign that can go the deepest of all signs into the death and rebirth, into birth and death, you know, which a lot of people are afraid of. Certainly they're afraid of death, whereas it doesn't give you that fear. But you do now have to collect all of your higher values together to walk forward into this Neptunian energy together with Aries. Because you cannot play the revenge button or the spite button. This is not what it's about now. You take with you those you choose to be with on the higher level, to do with your relationships. Because for you, there's a lot of imprint here of Neptune going to be spotlighting, and with Aries, which is very fiery, direct, on your relationships. So sift through what you're doing with various people. And if you're going to be attached to the highest good for you from those relationships, where you know those are the people who are going to support you in being the highest and the best you can be. So it's a clean-up operation there for Scorpios. Let's do the earth. So let's start with the most earthed of the earth. Let's start with Taurus. Do we dare look? Taurus is a very powerful sign, but it can be very entrenched. And this is taking responsibility. And what I'm being given here is take responsibility for what you do with your energy. Because connected with a really strong pulse from Venus, they can be connected to attachment, to love, but their biggest attachment on the negative side is always to money and the financial side of life. Now, you have a responsibility there because you're Taurians, but this is about sharing that money or allowing the money to go into the right areas of life to help everyone and not to be like holding on to it. Because what I see here is that earthy energy, which sometimes gives Taurians such a personal attachment to things, money, people. And we know that you are very earth, Taurians, but we now need you to lighten your approach. Stop the grab and attachment and begin opening up to the sharing and making available all resources to share with everyone. And you have a big responsibility here because Taurians within our leadership field as we walk forward can be very good because they're so earthed about taking responsible positions. But now it's got to be that you are open to everyone and to the rights and the wrongs of where resources need to go, and to not over capacitate yourself with hoarding of whatever, people, things, money. So for Taurians, it's about lightening up, but it's not about giving up your responsible leadership quality, because I think like Leos, they have that and they're far more grounded. We need both, because with Leo we have the inspiration from the fire, but with Taurians we have that walking forward in leadership roles, but with the grounded value that we also need. So let's do Capricorn. A lot been going on for the Capricorns, because we're leaving that old guard of all the rules and the Saturnian qualities now. But we still need the Earth of Capricorn. Where's that going? Ooh, this is really interesting. This is a real warning for Capricorns. This is the illness and wellness card. And I can totally understand that, because there are some people in the Capricorn astrology setting within themselves, because they have major parts of their chart in Capricorn, and they are really making themselves ill because they're trying to hang on to the old guard, the old rules, because it made them comfortable. They felt secure, didn't they, for all those years and years. I mean, this new world that is occurring has taken thousands of years, not even those ones added up in our own calendar, but goes far beyond this. This is an event within the cosmos that is being celebrated as we speak here now. This will be being watched over so that we say the right things, you know, us readers, because we need to take this seriously. There will never be another change in the cosmos like this one, because it will change everything forever. And it is about, within our own world, that we do not hang on to the Capricorn old guard, the elite, where the ego takes over on the negative side, and people see that there are different levels of humanity in the way of resources, which is such a total load of rubbish, because there should be a sharing of everything, absolutely everything, because we're not here to gain in that way. We take none of it with us when we leave. It's such a big illusion. But those with major parts of their chart in Capricorn will understand what I'm talking about. So in order to bring yourself back into a sense of wellness, you need to embrace what we're going towards. And maybe you are the ones, you know, I often think about what's the biggest thing, probably for Capricornies who've hung on to the Saturnian energies. Go and do an ayahuasca trip. Take a really healthy potion of magic mushrooms. Just blast your mind through. You know, I'm not an advocate in general of doing these things, because what has happened is they've become the thing to do. And people are doing it like not just one initiation, which is what I did myself. And I've talked about my past with LSD and magic mushrooms, with one time with each thing. It should be a holy initiation, not something you go back to every month. What happens if you do a trip with ayahuasca is it shows you, or magic mushrooms, it shows you what is possible and how you've restricted your mind, your feelings and everything, and your attitude to life and to others. It does not heal you in any way whatsoever. It just shows you. And I was talking to a shaman recently about this, and where they're trying to, even within the work they're doing in Peru, they're trying to now make sure that everybody who's sitting there in that circle understands this, because people just keep going back for more, and definitely people with a lot of money. They just go on these trips and then think they're enlightened. They're not at all. They've just been shown what's possible. The work is the same. The discipline of meditation, of healing your shadow self, of changing your eating habits, it's all the same. It was as it was. It comes out of majorly long time ago traditions, Hermetic. Go back to Egypt maybe 10,000 years ago and the truths were there. The truths were there with the Essenes on the Nile, where the Nazarene lived for 30 years and was educated in how to cleanse every level of himself. And then he was announced as the Jesus Christ. That's another story, but the much purer side of this is the Nazarene in the Essene College on the Nile. So Capricorns, we've spent a lot of time telling you this in a lot of different ways. You need to clean your act up now. Release everything. Come out of your hard shell of how you think things are going to be, because they're never going to be like that again. This is a challenging time for you, we know, but we want you well, and we want you in the collective because you are valuable to us. You've seen the old, you've been the old. We need to be aware of that. And I've got real shivers going down my spine as I speak this. It's so serious for that sign of the zodiac, because we need them. We cannot be a collective without any Capricorns moving forward in a well state. We need you more than well. We need you in your high level state. That's my lecture finished for Capricorns. I didn't realize that was coming. Taurus, Capricorn. Virgo. I have to really think about these signs sometimes. Virgo. A lot of Virgoans still needing to heal some grief here. This is interesting, isn't it? And you know, what I'm getting here is a lot of it is to do with the perfection side of Virgos, the down to small detail part of it, where when we go through, this is what they've just given me here, which I'd never thought of it this way. I have a Virgo ascendant, but it's like when we go forward in this huge new era, it's the large picture that we're looking at first, isn't it? And we break through to the whole idea of it in the large picture. And I think the grief is about the details that we don't know. And that's such a part of Virgoans, that they need to know that they're doing the right thing, and they need to know the detail of it. And do you know something? We don't know all the details of where we're going yet. And that is more frightening for Virgos than anybody. And I know sometimes I get like, oh, what am I supposed to be teaching out there now? What am I supposed to be doing out of my huge vocab of things that I've learned in my 76 years on this planet? And I'm, you know, and I do think like sometimes I get too much and I'm like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? I must talk about this. And really what's the best is when I'm just sitting here, and I'm just sitting here on my settee in my casita in Mexico, and it just come to me, I must do this one card pull, and I have to use the Goddess Oracle, God and Goddess for the masculines as well. Just take the pictures as if they're being a man. But I had to do it now, and I had to be with the energy that I had to do it. And that's me getting away from all the, you know, shall I do it this way? Do I tell them this? Do I? And that's my bit of Virgo. So the grief is there for a lot of Virgos because they think this is just too wide a view right now. Oh my God, what does it even mean? The next 14 years with Neptune in Aries. It's like a huge cavern, isn't it, when you think about it? And for Virgos, they need to go beyond that small thinking and the tiny details, because if you start to meditate, Virgos, and you start to clear your path and heal your shadow, or finish healing your shadow if you've already started, and clean up your diet so that your vibration can freely run through your body and that you're not holding it up with all the additives, the heavy flesh food, or the heaviness of the food because you eat too much, whatever it is. Get yourself light, and then you'll be able to move forward, understanding that it is a huge vision right now. But the details come in those moments when you allow that energy through. So it's not about the details now. You just need to see the huge expanse of the oneness, the newness, and the beauty of what we're walking towards. You do not need the details. So grieve where we're coming out from, and maybe take up something which will use that energy where you do need detail. You know, there's little things that you can take up as a little hobby that will take care of that part of your personality. So now we go on to air. Let's start with my sign of Libra. Let's see, what have we for Libra? Wow. And we can't make this up. Look, Libra's justice. What do we have? And we're getting this from every reader on the YouTube channels right now. There is justice coming in. I have a huge feeling and a sense of that now for myself, because I have a huge injustice that's kind of it's out at a distance from me, and yet they keep trying, the people involved in this injustice keep trying to play it into my local field, and they're not having a lot of luck. I sense it, and I sometimes see things that they've done, and it's kind of funny because I'm so protected that it doesn't move me from my mission. But that justice is coming in, and it's been a long time coming. And I think for a lot of Librans, we are the ones who are going to walk forward and hold that balance for the collective. And we first need the abundance to do it. We need the settlement in our life, on our histories in all sorts of ways. This is what's coming in as justice. There are a lot of different things coming in as justice. It's not just financial. It can be relationships. It can be things going on in families. It can be attributes, you know, that are around you and in you because of your circumstances. Just think justice, Librans, because you deserve it. It's owed to you and it's coming, but you have to make yourself available. You cannot in any way be resentful about why that justice hasn't come in yet or why it even happened, because we are all, us Librans, we are at the end of a karmic cycle. Everybody is, but we particularly played our part. Was it in a past life? Was it in the beginning of this life? I don't know for me. I know that when I say that, it's kind of wrong, really, because it has been a mystery, but I've kind of been given incredible clarification from all different, in all different ways on mine. And I now see it in a huge picture of many past lives. And I did my bit in those past lives. So I'm not in resentment over these people. They need to give it up. They need to move forward very, very quickly now because they know what they've done. But I'm not going to smear or stain my energy field with any resentment over it. It's sad more than anything. So for all of you Librans, do not hang on to anything about what's been done, because there's karma from many lifetimes for many of us. And we are not totally innocent from that. Otherwise, it would never have happened in this lifetime. And very big things have happened to Librans. So what we did in our, what can you call it, infancy of our spiritual path in other lifetimes, had to come back. But now justice is being served, so it's all good. And it's in time for us to move forward. It's not just for us. It's in time for us to move forward on our missions and use it for all. So lessons there to be learned. Yes, there's justice owed. Don't hang on to why. Don't hang on, grieve all of that. Get all of that out of your system and then move forward, knowing that you have the resources, the release, whatever it is for you, in order to complete your missions. Let's do Gemini. I don't want this to go on too long here. For Geminis, we have fear. Do you know what I get immediately? I get it's because of the duality. It's because there is always a slight, if not a large, duality with Geminis, who are the sign of the twins and go from here to there and flit around like a butterfly a lot of the time. And they are one of the powerful air signs on the intellectual side, on the side of holding information, finding information, which is really brilliant. But there's kind of fear in there at the moment. Again, I think this is to do with how vast this change is going to be. And all of us in our souls have memory of that because we signed those contracts to incarnate at this time for this amazing mission that we're on. But Geminis, again, can be dissipated on the mental side. So I think the fear is coming in about how big this change is. And maybe you're already really feeling that for you, you have to change a lot of things in your life. Well, we all do, and we all will. And the earth is cleansing. That's one large part of it. Look what's happening. I mean, we have Myanmar in Thailand. 200,000 missing, and they're just coming up on the news with like 1,700 dead. That's how they get people to accept the news and not turn it off completely, because obviously there's so many more deaths than they're saying. And this is huge information. And for people like Geminis, it's like what you have to do is take that on the higher level. You can't just think of it physically, like those people leaving now, those people under buildings, all of that. However it's happening, it was commissioned in the blueprints. They knew when they would leave on a soul level. We don't remember that. It's pretty good we don't, isn't it? Because we'd probably live every day for pleasure rather than our soul blueprint if we thought we were going to pop off next week. So we cannot do that. But there's fear here for Geminis because I think it's huge for them. All of this information is huge. What you need to do is what I say to everybody. You need to meditate so that you have this strong discernment. It's like a rod coming through you, because I know with everything I've been through, and I'm going to really enjoy telling the story because it's like a blockbuster, the things that have happened around me, not to me, right? There was only one thing, and that made me come back home, and that was right in the beginning, because I had to realize how powerful what was happening around me was. And then I just walked back home, did not go out that day, and then I got it. And then I started doing much more protection, calling in my power from the higher levels, blah, 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 calling in the divine to protect me too. So this is the same, like you, and what's so important for my life is the meditation, how I eat, how I allow people in and out of my life. I'm not going to be allowing frantic energies into my life. I work with people, but I also discern who I work with. They may not need me. I may be far too ahead on how I feel about things, because I cannot tell people, you're going to meet this tall, dark stranger down the road, or, your life's going to be all wonderful. My readings are about what does the universe want to tell you that needs working on. That's what my readings are about. So I can't just talk and work with the man in the street who just wants a gypsy reading. So, my power comes from my discernment and my disciplines. And for Geminis, you will get rid of all of that fear if you do that yourself. Because your mind is liable to flit anyway and to be full of so much information, which you can cope with, but you won't cope with that as well if you do not start to really discipline yourselves and bring in your discernment by meditating every day. You only need to start this with 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening, and then go to 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening. Go to my playlist, Fast Track to Cosmic Consciousness, to get all the information there. And we're going to end, and I think this is very apt, we're going to end with Aquarius. And oh my God, you can't make this up. How many times have I said that in this reading? Look at this. This is Shakti all lined up. The perfect energy centers. This is for Aquarius. And this is how you need to hold it, Aquarians. Throughout this whole 14-year period. That sounds like a tall order, doesn't it? But it isn't a tall order if you start now, because within a year of you starting to really amp up the disciplines to be that higher level version of you and your resonance and frequency to be higher, within a year, within 6 months, you will not know yourself. And this is how it looks, look. This is for every one of us, but it's come up for Aquarians because we're in the Aquarian age. Because Pluto is in Aquarius for 20 years, even longer than Neptune is in Aries. This is for us, this period of time, to bring in the new way of being. And I'm going to put in that, what is this about? This new world is about peace, equality, freedom. Love is, do I need to speak that? I don't usually say that in there because that's an obvious. But peace, equality, and freedom is not what everybody on this planet have. They may have love running through their veins, but they don't have those three things. And that's why I always name those, because that's what we're going to achieve in this new world. And it will run on those levels. And it will look like this for every person. So Aquarians, you are in the front line. Clean up anything you need to clean up. Get your energy centers. You know, if you come through as Aquarius, what this picture is about. And if you don't know, you better start looking at the subtle level of this life and things. Thank you for listening. I hope this helps you for the next 14 years. Please subscribe and like the video. Thank you.